right, good morning. It's really wonderful to be here with all of you. As many of you know, I am not a morning person, so it's just not for anybody that I get up and actually be here and on point. And at the risk of costing her $1, I'm going to give a shout out to OmFit Activewear at our store. Yeah. Most of the time I am wearing her duds, so her wonderful clothes there at OmFit. So yeah, I've got $1 for you. I got $1 for you here, Heather, so don't worry about it. All right, let me get my notes, and we've got our presentation. On your table too, you'll want to make sure you take a moment, and if you want to take it with you, certainly do, a copy of our most updated report about Workforce 180. And that's what I'm going to take the next 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes to talk to you about today. Nyasha, unfortunately, could not be here. We were texting back and forth this morning, and she was on her way, actually. And then her father called, elderly, had a fall in the bathroom, and he's okay, but she needed to go back and attend to him. So she's very, very sorry that she was not able. She was very excited to come here today and would love to have a makeup date. So maybe we can help her make that happen. Anyway, so, speaking about Nyasha a little bit, when I called her to tell her of this opportunity and the support that you all are going to be giving her, and she was really taken back because she said that it's been a bit of a tough semester for her, and we found her at a down moment, and this was just the motivation and inspiration that she needs to move forward. And I think that that's what you'll find in my talk here today about this initiative, is that Workforce 180 is designed as a community solution to be more than just a scholarship, because you can hand somebody a check and that's incredibly generous, but life can happen. And for so many of these young people, the twists and turns of life, and they might not really have the support that you or I, or maybe some of our own children have, to be resilient in the face of the twists and turns of life. And so bringing a network and a support system to these young people to help them through their path is very, very valuable. All right, so Jerry, you promised me that this would go forward like this, yes? Okay. So here we have Workforce 180 Initiative. The theme or the tagline that I will repeat probably throughout is that it is a solution to ending poverty. I'm going to talk a little bit about that.
Keep the arrow on the side.
There we go. I hold it the right way. Okay, so I want to just touch very briefly on this slide, just to give you some context about Workforce 180. I think maybe later on this summer or in the fall, my boss, David Taylor, our CEO, will be back perhaps to give a broader explanation of the different things that United Way is doing. But I'm going to give a deep dive on this one particular initiative. But I want you to know that, in the last 2 to 3 years, a new United Way has really emerged for reasons that I won't get completely into, but we've really had to retool and rethink what the organization could do for the community and what the community really needs. And so in 2018, we made a very intentional decision to focus all and each and every effort on youth and families. Now that's fairly broad, and was really, a majority of the work that had always been done anyway. But we wanted to really focus on impact and an initiative-based fundraising. It's easy. No, it's not easy to raise funds ever, but it's one thing to raise funds and say, and fill up that thermometer on the city square and say, look, we raised X million dollars. But it's another thing to really say what those dollars are going to, and drawing that line from A to B to C for the donors to see actually the impact. And that's really what we have in mind with United Way, with Workforce 180, and in the way that we are fundraising, is to be very impact focused, and also to take a more active and proactive role in those solutions. Again, we could write a check and we could issue block grants, but I think as you'll see with some statistics that I have, we have a lot of work to do in this community, particularly around poverty and the near poverty situations. So I won't say anything more on that, but we are a new United Way, we are emerging, and I think a lot of the work that we did, particularly in the height of the pandemic, was very representative of the new kind of United Way that we are. Okay, so as I talk about poverty, I'm going to talk about ALICE. Who's ALICE? ALICE is, in this case, an acronym, Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. Poverty, maybe you refer to that as working or the working poor, near poverty, making it barely check to check. This is an acronym that was defined by a study recently that our United Way has access to. It was a national study, and it defined poverty in a way that I think actually really puts a very relevant and relatable face to poverty. We may have different thoughts and reactions to that term poverty, but when you think about it as asset limited, income constrained, you can kind of relate to that scenario a little bit better. Maybe we've all been there at one point or another. And the interesting thing, and probably not so coincidental, is that Alice is a female name and probably representative of many households of single moms raising children. And so it puts a face and maybe a more relatable way to speak about the lack of stability that so many people in our community actually are facing in terms of financial self-sufficiency. Promised you a couple of statistics. Here's one. 24,000 households in McLean County are ALICE households. ALICE or poverty near poverty. 24,000 households. That's 36%. You might go, well, there's another 64% that are doing better. But really, in McLean County, with all the resources that we have, 2 universities, community college, 2 healthcare systems, great schools, wonderful service clubs, really? Is that what we want? 72%. That's the increase in the last decade of poverty and near poverty households in our community since 2010. And that's pre-pandemic figures. I mean, anecdotally, we all know of economic hardships that have come as a result of the pandemic. So those are some pretty stunning factors that really has helped shape what we are doing with Workforce 180. Like I said, our focus is on youth and family, and so in 2018, 2019, as we were looking to develop a more holistic approach, a more impactful way of making a difference in the community, we asked this question: how do we keep our kids? They're all kids, right? The older I get, they all become kids. How do we keep, and really what we're talking about is our young adults, our next generation, roughly speaking, 18 to say 30-year-olds that are trying to get and establish themselves in the workforce. They're at a real existential moment. Some of them are coming right out of high school. It's a very vulnerable time of transition. Some of them have kind of tried some college, tried some jobs. They got a car payment. They're just not getting going. It's easy to fall into that grasp of poverty. It's easy, too easy to become Alice. So we asked this question, and this became the answer. This is Workforce 180. Let's create a pathway in this community to financial self-sufficiency with a holistic support system to increase their potential for success. we know that there is a lot of effort, admirable efforts, for workforce development and for addressing poverty. But we recognize that many of them were very discreet and not really woven together in a system. And so that's what Workforce 180 is, and that's what United Way tries to bring to the situation, is to be that navigator. Somebody else recently last week said, so you're kind of like a quarterback. Yeah, okay, sure. Point guard, I don't know, conductor of an orchestra. Think about any of those analogies. That's what United Way is trying to do with Workforce 180. We're not the provider of the service. We do fundraise through the work that we're doing, but we're the convener and coordinator of the resources. We're kind of the catalyst for the change. That's what Workforce 180 is, and that's what I really kind of want you to keep in mind as I dive a little deeper. This is the pathway, and although it's presented here as linear, it's really not a very linear process, but we have to kind of put it on a PowerPoint slide, so bear with me. Left to right, we have young adults, 18 to 30 years old, like I mentioned, kind of at a crossroad in their life. They're referred to us from a number of agencies, schools, sometimes even friends and family, to join this support system. We group them as a cohort of, say, 4 to 6 students in a similar career path. We pair them up with mentors who then help them with the next stage there, which is life. Remember I said about the check that we could write and send them on their way, and hey, you're all set for Heartland, until their car breaks down. Or their father falls in the bathroom, right? Like Naija had. I mean, stuff happens. She was on her way here. You know, till my childcare is disrupted because of the pandemic and is now closed. Or, you know, I can't make rent this month. All those things happen. And so with the support system of their peers in the cohort, and with the mentors who are volunteers from the community, we help them through. And that's really almost an iterative process right there in the center, getting them over those humps and on towards graduation and employment. The picture there with the person with the blue dots surrounding them, that's meant to represent that iterative process and that convening process whereby whatever the issue is, and it's not a one-size-fits-all, whatever a student might present to their mentor, that mentor, with the help of United Way, we help surround them with the right resources. Maybe it's rental assistance from Mid-Central Community Action. Maybe it's getting them in touch with the township for some emergency assistance. Maybe it's getting them in touch with the Child Care Resource Referral Network for some child care options. A whole variety of things. And then ultimately, walking with them on this pathway to graduation. We work with them on 2-year programs, so like CNA, paramedic, medical assistant, welding, some of the construction trades. So we get them through a 2-year associate's or certificate program, and then work with them into their next step, which would be employment and or maybe going on for further education. Many of the nursing prep students are 2 years at Heartland, and then they apply to either the Heartland Nursing School or say ISU or another nursing school for their RN and BSN. So that ending point is either working and or going back to school, usually both. So that's the way it works technically. Why does it matter? I think it's probably pretty self-evident, but here's some numbers that, again, might convince you. So on the left, it says the $25,000 is the estimate that we put together from some research that it costs our county to sustain a person that's basically on a whole host of public benefits, $25,000. We figure maybe some housing support, some food assistance, and so forth. $25,000 just to keep them in poverty, kind of status quo. Versus an investment in Workforce 180 to a student like Nyasha for a 2-year program is about $8,000. That's tuition, books, maybe some equipment if as needed, supplies, and then a variety of emergency assistance that might come up. $8,000 is that investment. And when you think about it, after 2 years, they can get a job. And honestly, these medical assistants, these CNAs, they're coming out, welders, 18, 19, 20 bucks an hour. And that's, I mean, this one guy that came out with a couple of welding certificates, $19 an hour. And he's just getting started. So, you know, you start to add that up, he's going to be making $40,000 here. Versus the other alternative was costing $25,000. You start doing the math on the return on investment, and you see where this workforce development initiative is needed. I don't need to begin to tell you, you can probably imagine, I'm thinking of the people in this group, the economic impact of that. Okay? So that's our why, kind of in the dollars and cents. With our growth since 2019 when we started with 6 students. We're now up to over 30. At any one time, I might have 50 or 60 between people who are thinking about being part of Workforce 180, people who are actually in training, and then we actually have some graduates. We have some that are, you know, kind of flying the coop and getting excited, finishing their clinicals and getting a job. So it's really neat to see that. So when we start to add up already what the impact of some of our early graduates are making and doing the math, you know, we're reaching, if not surpassing, $250,000 of economic impact. So we're very, very proud of this and proud of our community and how it's coming together. Some key partners in all of this obviously are Heartland Community College, but a whole range of all of our social service agencies and our educational institutions. So I mentioned to you earlier that it's not a very linear process. I think this picture really does describe the variety of helps that we could give an individual. So this is, you know, no person in particular other than Alice. Okay, so this could be any one of our students that we have. It could be Nyasha. It could be the young man who just finished his welding. You know, and so kind of clockwise from Bloomington Housing Authority, okay, up there at the upper right. You know, we might be working with folks there at Bloomington Housing Authority to help them secure affordable apartment. We work with them a lot to even identify students. They have residential coordinators who are looking to help their residents get financial stability in their life. So many of them become part of Workforce 180. I mentioned Mid-Central Community Action earlier. They've got a wonderful program called Next Step that provides financial counseling, has taught a number of our students basic budgeting, basic money management. They really, really enjoy their monthly meetings with their counselor there. So we help them get connected to Mid-Central Community Action and support Mid-Central for their efforts. I mentioned Heartland Community College there on the lower right. They are a tremendous resource in this community. So many certificates and micro certificates. They're really, really a great opportunity. And then the mentors, you know, rental assistance. Even we had one fellow who had an emergency appendectomy. And so one of our mentors works at Carl, is helping him get some financial aid for those bills. So a whole variety of things. I think I need to probably speed up here. I want to get to how you can help and how you already are helping. And there's your Rotary symbol there. That's really where you are helping our person, Nyasha, because she is in the midst of this journey right now. And by coming alongside her, providing her the financial help and the moral support, I know she'll be here one day, and when she sees this room full of people that she knows are in her corner, that's exactly what she needs. So thank you for that. I want to finish with a video, and this kind of tees us up here. This is one of our students, AJ. She's finishing her paramedic certificate this spring, and she has a quote here that is really powerful. You'll hear her in the video as well. She says of Workforce 180, to have this group of people come along and say, I see you want to better yourself. And I see that you want to achieve success and happiness in your life. It's an overwhelming thankfulness that I have for this program. When we met AJ coming out of high school, she was a BACC student. I'm not sure she really had a home. I think she was couch surfing. This young woman is a dynamo. And I tell her all the time that, if I ever find myself flat on a pavement somewhere, I hope she's picking me up, because I know that I'd be in good hands. All right, so I want to tee up this video, if possible. How do I get that done? You should just click on it. Okay, takes about 5 minutes, and then we'll be done.
No, it did not.
Okay. Well, while we get that work done, I do want to just finish with Nyasha. I hope that she could be here. A little bit more about her. Her career track is to become a CNA. That's about a 2-year program. Some of the interesting facts about Nyasha is that right out of high school, she did go in to become part of the U.S. National Guard and or joined the Army and is now part of the U.S. National Guard. So she is really an amazing, inspirational person. Do we have our technical?
Yeah, I'm gonna go get the link from the email.
Okay. While he's doing that, any questions that I can answer for you on this? Yes, in the back, Kevin.
So what's your goal? What's the number of students you'd like to get into this program? I know we've got some big plans, but what's the number?
It's sky's the limit, of course. But right now, we hit a goal last year of 50. This year, we're looking to maybe get more towards 75. Like I said, I'm north of 60 right now, people that we're talking to. We are constrained by the number of mentors. So if I had to put a plug in, I would say, if it's in your heart to help a young person, recent retirees are wonderful into your work-life balance as well. It is extremely rewarding. It takes a few years being a lifeline for them throughout the month. So I will shamelessly plug for more mentors. See me, all right? Yeah, Julie.
How do you choose the students, or do you take all comers?
We have an interview process, and one of the slides I glossed over there a bit was about their commitments. They've got to be prepared to be a part of this. We're not going to, it's kind of, we're not going to just feed them, hand feed them. They've got to be ready to go.
Hi, I'm AJ. I'm a paramedic student at Heartland Community College. When I was about to graduate high school, my EMTB introduced me to Workforce 180.
I'm Colin. I live in Gridley, Illinois, so I'm currently enrolled in Heartland Community College in a welding program.
I was born and raised in Bloomington. I went to BACC for my last 2 years of high school, where I picked up EMT and firefighting.
Before I connected with Workforce 180, I was very unsure where my future was going to go.
Workforce 180 came up at BACC. My principal, Mr. Fraser, introduced me to United Way, and they were like, hey, we're getting a bunch of people together that might want to be in the EMS field or the EMT field. Would you want to be one of them? And I'm like, yeah, I'd like to be one of them.
I was like, they're not going to pick me. You're not gonna pick me. And then one day, Mr. Fraser came down to my classroom and he completely fooled me and was like, hey, I want to let you know that you were considered an option for this scholarship and this could potentially change your life. And I was like,
Workforce 180 is an opportunity, and they have a bunch of different people from the community of Bloomington Normal coming together and banding together to make opportunities possible for people like me.
They helped me with my living situation, my education. They've always just been amazing and always go above and beyond for helping us with things.
they have set me up with financial coaches, success coaches, tutors, anything you can imagine they have offered.
One of the things I really like about Workforce 180 is that they're able to stay in contact with you and keep you on the right track for what you want to do.
It's an amazing program to be a part of. You guys are helping to change the lives of people. You're giving some people a second chance to be able to further their education. It's just something amazing to be a part of.
So basically, if I didn't have 180, I probably wouldn't be here. Like, they have provided me with a straight shot to my ideal job and all of the resources and all of the time and energy to get there. And it's basically just a weight off my shoulders that they've come in and helped, because I know exactly where I'm going. I know exactly how to get there, and they're just helping me along the way.
I've definitely been able to have more of a grasp with school and more of a motivation to stay in school and do what I want to do.
If someone were to ask me what Workforce 180 is or how it has benefited me, I would tell them that it's the one thing you needed to take the stress off of your shoulders. That is what Workforce 180 is. It is them giving you this golden opportunity. They just see you as a human and they want to help you because you're a human.
So yes, Workforce 180 did help me finish my CNA course. So with me finishing that, I did go ahead and take the state license. So now I'm a certified nursing assistant. I work as a CNA at an assisted living facility, and I'm also going on to continue my education to become a nurse.
Yes, I am actually done with my clinical portion, so yay! And I took the state exam and I have passed it. So I am a CNA.
It's just an overwhelming thankfulness that I have for this program, because I now get to attend college for free. And I now get to know that if something goes horribly wrong in my life, I have these people that I can call upon, and they will do their best to help me.
To have a program like this in the midst of a community, that's what the world needs. Everybody should have a united way.
Thank you very much. I'll hang around afterwards. I know you all are very busy people, but like I said, please help yourself to this flyer. And if you have any other questions, I'll hang around. So thank you.